was an idea to bring together two average to mediocre people to see if one could teach the other, so when he watched movies, he could understand the references that many others already easily could. This is Comics Covered for the week of April 18, 2018, episode 23.
I understood that reference.
Hey, look at you!
Yeah.
Here on Comics Covered, we talk about comic books and the world, the multiverse around them. The comics industry, the comics movies, the TV, the games. We will also talk some spoilers.
The TV, the game, the kids and their TV and the internet.
Yeah, and the Facebook and everything. Mm-hmm. What is it? Actually, Facebook is not hip anymore, so I shouldn't say that.
No, it's
Snapchat.
It's all
Grindr. Do you know what Grindr is?
Yes.
Okay. We'll warn you about the spoilers, though. I'm Jack. I am I'm the new guy. I'm the dumb guy. I'm here with Doug, who is not as dumb as me in comics, specifically.
Sure. I'm Doug. As you said, I'm our resident comics expert, I guess. I don't know, the closest thing to
Doug
it.
got tripped up because I changed veteran to venison on the rundown.
I actually did not even notice that. I just had my weekly existential crisis about the word veteran again.
Dear God. Okay. Hey, did you like my intro, by the way? I did.
That was pretty
good. A lot of work while I was pooping for that one.
Work. Wow. Well, got a little bit more behind the scenes information than I don't.
I thought you said that we should pull back the curtain. You know, we're real with our audience.
This is something I tell my girlfriend every single day, that it is a disgusting thing you people do, and I've never done it.
Wow. Okay, Doug. Okay, what's the thing? Come on.
Okay. I, as the person who knows a little bit more about comics here, your comics Sherpa, if you will, know who Batmite is.
Is okay. So it has to be something that DC.
Every Bat-related character, is that DC?
I'm gonna say DC.
It is DC.
Okay, thank you. Fuck you. Batmite. It's a fucking termite. That's a fucking bat, I guess. It's just
Nailed
like a
it. That's it. Nope.
Is that not it? Okay. Well, okay, Batmite. Then I'm not gonna guess that. Then I'm changing my guess. Batmite. It is a character, right?
No, it's a place. You know, I like to think of the city of Gotham as really a sort of character.
Yeah?
In the Batman universe. No, it's a character, yes.
Oh, I loved it when they said that about Metropolis. That was great.
Fuck.
That was great.
Fuck.
Okay, Batmite.
Places are not characters. That's nonsense. Stop saying that about your shit, people. I'm so tired of it. It means nothing.
My favorite thing, I remember, because I think I told you, someone referred to a score of a movie as a character in and of itself. That's a little too far.
I don't know. I feel like that's almost the other direction of where, like, that's maybe a little closer to something that could be described. Because, I don't know, music can emote, I suppose. But, like, a fucking setting, a city does not have, like, development, or, I mean, like, it could have development, but not like... It
totally does.
But not in the way that, like, a character does. It doesn't have emotions. It doesn't have, like, if we're talking about the population of a city, but that's not what people are talking about when they talk about, like, you're getting so derailed right now.
No, I know, but okay, whatever. Batmite. I'm gonna go for Batmite. Okay. If it's not a termite, it's some, god damn it, it's Batman, Batmite. Oh! Fuck. Okay, I'm gonna go off the wall. DC. It's a person who's obsessed with Batman, who can become very, very small, like microscopic, like an Ant-Man kind of thing.
Okay.
And he's a villain, and he calls himself Batmite. And so he does, regular villain stuff. He's probably some golden age fucker who does bank heists and shit. and he's just obsessed with Batman.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Whatever, go ahead.
Kind of gave up on it at the end there.
Because I wanted to be a termite. It makes sense if it's a termite.
Okay. So there are ideas in your description that are sort of present. So it is indeed a small version of Batman. Who is obsessed with Batman. So this is a character who's...
And a villain?
Shrug.
Okay.
He's a character who exists who causes trouble for Batman. So do you remember in Action Comics 1000 this week?
Oh.
Do you remember the story written by Paul Dini from Batman in the Animated Series, which had a character named Mr. Mxyzptlk?
Yes, I do remember that character, because I was actually wondering, if that was actually... I was going to ask you about that character, actually.
Yes.
Okay.
So that character came first, and he is an interdimensional imp and trickster. And he was a Silver Age character from Superman because they couldn't do anything. There was the comics code and everything, so they couldn't do anything
The comics
violent.
code?
I will explain that another time. I didn't realize you didn't know what that was. Maybe we'll get into that at the end of the show. We can't get derailed by the comics code right now. It's a whole thing.
I have a code.
No, okay.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Anyways,
wow.
The Silver Age, anyways, for weird reasons, they were reined in in terms of content. So they went. That's why the 60s, 70s, 50s to an extent were like super zany and trippy and weird.
Okay.
So there was this character, Mr. Mxyzptlk, who's an interdimensional imp who created trouble for Superman.
Mr. Mxyzptlk?
Mxyzptlk.
Mxyzptlk. Yeah, I was trying to say the name in my head when I was reading.
You're not really supposed to be able to say it.
Oh, it's like one of those Lovecraftian kind of things? Like you don't...
Yeah, I don't know. He's a weird imp from another dimension. Anyways, they're kind of like weird, omnipotent kind of... They have like reality-altering powers. Anyway, that character was very successful, and Batman wanted to jump on the success of that, so they created this character, Batmite, who is an interdimensional imp, much like Mr. Mxyzptlk, who is a small, cartoony-looking character from a dimension of people who are obsessed with superheroes from the DC universe. They all dress like them, and they reenact all of their adventures. And so he's Batman's biggest fan, and so he shows up in the regular DCU and is like, "Oh, I love you, Batman!" And then, because he's a crazy, weird, reality-altering imp, just does crazy shit to create adventures for Batman or go on adventures with him. And sometimes they're enemies and sometimes they're friends, but mostly he's just kind of causing shit for Batman, and Batman's kind of annoyed.
Yeah.
And so that's Batmite. I'll link you to his comic Vine page.
How are you defining an imp? Just like a short person?
That's what they always describe them as. They're like little elf people. I don't know.
Yeah.
Batmite leans a little bit more into just he looks like a tiny cartoon character, but we're gonna call him Mixie from now on because that's what a lot of the characters do. He just looks like a weird little elf. Like a dwarf elf kind of character.
Yeah, Batmite looks really weird. He looks like a child.
He looks like a weird little child cartoon character because he is kind of like a childish, he's just he's a fan of Batman and he wants to go on adventures with him.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. Wow. That is so weird. So are they literally from the same race, or do they not care enough to explain that, really?
It depends on the version. I think some versions of him, they have explained it as they're from the same reality, and other ones, they leave it a little more open.
Okay. And Mixie is a straight-up villain, right?
Yes. He's just he is also a trickster in that he's just causing shit just for fun, but also his shit tends to be I changed the world in this fundamentally fucked up way because I think it's funny or whatever, Huh. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. That's very interesting. How might I read something with Batmite in it? Does he just pop up every once in a while?
Yeah. He had a book for a little bit not too long ago. That was like, I think a little bit more like all ages. But if you ever read Grant Morrison's lengthy run on Batman, he kind of reinvented him as a weird, trippy, hallucinogenic voice of his conscience.
Jesus.
And he was super creepy.
Okay.
It's pretty great. Not really what traditional Batmite is, but yeah, I don't know. I think was he in an episode of the animated series? I don't remember.
I couldn't tell you.
That information is lost in my brain. Jack, how was your week?
It was really good. It was really good. So I watched the pilot of Preacher, which I didn't actually finish because it's really long and I was tired when I started it, so I want to watch it again. But it's really good. It's like, I'm a big fan. Like, it's like if I imagine that Noah Hawley watched Preacher and it's like, how do I make this kind of weird show and just make it a lot weirder for Legion? So it's kind of like Legion Light in a way, but it's a very different story, obviously. But it's like that. It's very cool, trippy style, and I really enjoy the performances, and the story is it hooks you in pretty well. I would highly recommend it. I know you said you wanted to do the comic though, right?
Yeah, that's the big thing that's keeping me away from it. I watched the first episode back when it premiered, and I didn't know what to expect going into that show, and I could not make heads or tails of that.
Really?
I may or may not have been under the influence of substances at the time and could not understand that show.
Alcohol
and I don't
or weed?
really,
The latter?
Yeah.
It's
anyway.
420 tomorrow.
Shit. It's the weed day.
It's the weed day. In any case, that's cool though. Well, yeah, you should give it another shot. I think after seeing Legion, you should find it easy to follow, actually. I don't know. It was good though.
Yeah, I just really want to read the comic at some point because I know it's like a classic, and I know that the show is fairly different, but I don't know. It's just keeping me from doing it for whatever reason.
I know what you mean. I also noticed that. Did you know that Clark Gregg was in 500 Days of Summer?
I didn't know that.
I saw a clip today.
Who was he in that?
He plays Joseph Gordon-Levitt's boss at the Hallmark card company or whatever. I just saw a short clip of it, but obviously I didn't know who he was when that movie came out, so I was like, oh shit, that's crazy.
When did that happen in relation to like Iron Man?
That's a good question. I
probably would have been relatively around the same time, I feel like. Was that like 2008 Iron Man?
Iron Man was 2008. I'm searching this right now. 500 Days of Summer. I love that movie. It's great. I wish Mark Webb would make more not Spider-Man movies. Oh, 500 Days.
He's definitely not making any more Spider-Man movies.
This was 2009, actually. So Iron Man came out a year before. But, I mean, I guess I just didn't notice.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that, like, Agent Coulson would have been, like, as prevalent in our minds after the first Iron Man.
Yeah, he was just kind of like
thing. He was just kind of there in that first one. He was funny, but like
Iron Man 2, he was more in there, and then of course Thor, he was like really in there. Yes. And then my last thing this week was, did you know that Kendrick Lamar won a Pulitzer Prize in music?
Like this year? Like just
like just a few days ago, they announced the winners for the Pulitzer Prizes, and he won in music for his album Damn.
Huh.
Which is nuts because it always goes to like contemporary classical or like even jazz music sometimes, never like hip hop or shit like that. So this is like,
have they done something like that before? Or is this like a big,
this
like,
is huge
we're trying
watershed
to
moment.
Like modernize, I would imagine that's like their organization is saying like, we need to like unstuffy ourselves and like
makes sense.
You know, like there's other forms.
Good for them, honestly.
Yeah, there's other forms of art other than classical music, I guess.
I feel you. But yeah, that was about it.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't really honestly do much. I'm trying to think if I even like watched anything or read anything. I have been so busy. I've mentioned on the show before, I work for an NBA team, and
the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, and they made it to the playoffs, and so I've been
You really don't
busy.
You really don't like giving out specific information about us, do you?
Let me make that joke about giving out my social security number again.
But seriously, what's wrong with saying you work for the Minnesota Timberwolves?
Bazinga, I did it again. It's my catchphrase.
Bazinga again? Really? That's the Big Bang Theory thing, isn't it? Do you watch Big Bang Theory?
Are you fucking with me right now?
No.
Are you? That show is a fucking pox on humanity. That show is one of the worst television shows ever made.
It is not one of the worst television shows ever made.
God awful. It's not funny.
It has way too much laugh track, I'll give you that. But it had in the first couple seasons, it was kind of funny.
It's a fucking... I hate literally every aspect of that show. I don't think any of the jokes are jokes, and I don't think any of the characters are genuinely trying to, like... Everyone, when that show first came out, it touted it as like, oh, it's a show that's about a show about nerds. No, it's a show mercilessly mocking nerds and making them look like autistic weirdos.
Yeah, it's mocking merds. Those people called merds.
All right, I don't think I said that.
You totally did.
Okay,
I'll do a Twitter poll on Sunday. Oh, by the way, everyone, we're casting this week in Future Vision. It's Thursday.
Yeah, we're recording a little bit early this week, so I guess that's a big occasion.
It is. I mean, something might happen in the next couple days that we won't know about. Like, someone might die, and we won't be, knock on wood.
I mean, in all likelihood, someone will die. It might be you.
It'd be really cool if, like, you could keep track, and if there were days where no one died at all, anywhere in the world. That'd be pretty cool.
Fucking, I'm just imagining, if there's just some fucking sci-fi novel and they're all, like, referencing in conversation, just, like, offhand, like, the day no one died. And that, like, caused some fucked up shit to happen because, like, it unbalanced the universe.
Oh, wow, that might be, yeah. That'd be a cool little concept. Okay, in any case, let's get on track. Me being the host this week, I'm gonna get us on track, unlike you, Doug. So first off, it is literally Thursday. We're recording on Thursday, so that means it is exactly a week before both of us are gonna see, and a lot of you are going to see Infinity War. And that is so cool.
It is very exciting. That is dependent on whether or not the Timberwolves make it to Game 6.
Oh, shit. So. You're going to have to work late on that night and you're going to make it?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, that would suck. But you can watch it in the weekend anyway, so...
It's kind of a 50-50. Well, I don't want to put a number on it, but it's okay. It may or may not happen.
Oh, dear.
But that is very exciting if I end up getting to go see it next week. Very, very exciting.
Oh my god, I'm pumped. I'm so pumped. I'm so glad I've avoided most things. I've caught little snippets of people like speculating from other trailers, but I'm mostly virginity on everything except for the first trailer they released. So I'm pumped. I will hope that the Timberwolves don't make it. But it would be kind of cool if they made it too. But who knows? Wait, only if they do Game 6. So if they just win in 3 games... Or 4 games.
They've already lost 3.
Oh shit.
Oh, I'm sorry. They've lost 2. We have 2 upcoming.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good the other way anyways. They might just lose.
Anyways.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to say like, holy shit. And I wanted to ask you, Doug, what do you think? You've read Infinity Gauntlet or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I mean, they're loosely basing off of that. Don't do spoilers or anything like that. But what do you think, realistically, then unrealistically, what do you think is the worst possible thing they could do plot-wise with this movie that would make it, like, pretty cringy or bad in a way?
Why are we going to that first?
Because everyone's so hyped up for this movie. It's gonna be awesome. We gotta level our hype for a little bit and make sure that we don't go into too high expectations. Bring people's hype down a little bit. Actually, I guess that's not a good thing to do, but it's interesting because no one's...
Definitely what nerd culture needs is two people just hating on a thing before it's literally even come out.
No one's talking about speculation on how they could fuck up. You know, people talk about how they could be awesome. No one does that. We're that low-hanging fruit, Doug.
I can't with you right now. I think the worst thing that they could possibly do is if they finally make good on that that implication that they made about three or four movies ago. That
which movie?
Oh, you know, in Age of Ultron, I think it was a while back, where they implied that Hulk was actually secretly a cashier at a local grocery store.
What?
I mean, they did imply that. They implied that he was secretly a clerk.
Are you making a joke?
A cashier. No, that's real. It's a real thing.
What do you mean?
I'm really excited for Infinity War because I think that it'll be exciting to see Iron Man and Doctor Strange talk to each other. And also, I'm very excited to see
so you were actually just making that up, right?
We'll never know.
Shut up! I'm trying to give the people a service, you know?
Also, Iron Man's going to die.
Well,
Iron Man is definitely going to die.
They can't, get his contract. He's too expensive. How can you... he can literally live off this money for the rest of his life, in his lifestyle, probably. It's ridiculous. But yeah, of course. Do you think Cap's gonna die?
No. I think he might retire. I think we are going to get the scenario that's going to happen in this movie is a large chunk of the team, at least a few of the heavy hitters, including Iron Man and Cap, are probably either going to die or retire. They're not going to kill all of them.
Okay, what about Thor? That's a hard one.
They just gave him a whole big new status quo thing.
I think they're going to keep him around.
I think it seems like they're going to give him a new hammer in this movie and whatever. I don't think he's going anywhere. Maybe he won't be on the Avengers.
Okay, understand.
Maybe he'll be doing his crazy space thing.
What if he's with Guardians?
That'd be interesting. He's a bit above their league.
Yeah,
honestly. Yeah. But that could be interesting.
Yeah. What do you think, Vision? Where do you think he's going to be?
Where's he going to be?
No,
hopefully in more swanky sweater vests and stuff.
He does look pretty good like that, right? I also it's pretty cool to see Bettany being able to be the real person too. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna rip that Infinity Gem right out of his head, and
he's just gonna die because of that, right?
I hope he doesn't die. I mean, does that mean that his personality is trapped in that gem? Or, if they put it back in his body, would he still be there? I don't know.
I feel like it's just powering, the ability for Jarvis to be in the body. So maybe if they make, an arc reactor or something to have for Vision or something, maybe that would work as well. Or some other thing that produces a ridiculous amount of power. But that's, I don't know. It's going to be weird. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to be very sad if he's not there, because I love Paul Bettany. He's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm assuming, people like Falcon, people like Scarlet Witch, people like War Machine, probably. Don Cheadle's probably in there. And who's the fucking Sebastian Stan? They're probably going to be Avengers, right? Just, going forward.
Yeah. If Cap dies or retires.
Oh, do you think he's going to become Cap, Sebastian Stan?
No, I'm asking who do you think would become Cap?
Either Falcon or Sebastian Stan, right?
Well, yes. Those are but which one?
Oh. I don't fucking know. I'm going to guess Falcon, because doesn't he become... No. Winter Soldier becomes...
They both become Cap.
But Winter Soldier first, right?
Yes, in terms of, the timeline of the comics, yeah, it was Winter Soldier first. I would guess that would be the case, since the Russo brothers have been like heavily involved in like the Winter Soldier story.
Yeah.
And less so focused on Falcon, although Falcon has been a part of their movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I would guess they'd go Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Also, one other thing I'm really excited for, they've been very explicit in stating that Hulk's storyline is like really, really a huge part of these movies. Starting his arc in Ragnarok and ending it like in Avengers 4. So I'm that's one of the things I'm most excited for, to see how they like, because they said he's like his entire arc in these 3 movies is basically like him getting his own movie, because they're treating it like that. So I'm pumped for that. What do you think that's gonna be like? Like, because we saw him like being like, everyone thinks I'm a monster and like no one loves everyone hates me and shit like that in Ragnarok. So how do you think that plays out?
I think we're gonna see finally kind of the fruition of the idea of him kind of getting full control over his powers, and we might get an intelligible Hulk by the end of this movie or in the next movie.
Wait, it'll be what?
About intelligible, like that he'll be able to talk, and like that Banner will be in control. Okay, yeah. Huh? You don't think they're gonna try and be like 2 different? I guess they haven't done the 2 different personas thing like they are doing in comics now. Okay. I don't know. They could go either way. Maybe he just makes peace with Hulk, and Hulk like is there to help, but like in some fashion, I think he's going to get like actual control of the Hulk. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Cool. Well, we can stop there, I guess. That was thin enough. But there's your hype for the week. Doug has not. Okay, I think the worst thing they could possibly do is they could. I mean, if they just spread themselves too thin in general, if they don't develop, like, if they, like, just kind of show every character, but they don't really, well, I don't know, it's tough to say, because they've been so good thus far, so it's hard to say, like... Well, there's also about 50 characters in this movie. Oh, you know who I don't care for that they're seeming to lay into more is Mantis. I don't care for Job. I don't care for Mantis. You're just Lucille Bluth now. You're just sitting in a room just with a martini. I don't care for Mantis. I don't know. I just, like, she's fine. She's fun, I guess. But, like, I don't know. What do you think? She just seems like they made her into a joke character in Guardians 2, which is not kind of the history of that character. She's kind of a, like, martial arts expert badass character. Oh. And they made her into a weird, uncomfortable Asian stereotype. Yeah. It was odd. Weird. But, so that's a thing. Okay. Moving on. We're going to move on to news. Our first bit of movie news, is that Steven Spielberg, he's hot off his, directorial debut, Ready Player One. No, I'm just kidding. He's in talks, or no, he's confirmed, isn't he? He's confirmed for DC's, I think he's confirmed. This report says, it's a Hollywood Reporter article that says that he's producing it with the intention of developing it as a directing vehicle. That's such a weird way to... Weird. I assume that means that he is not officially signed on to direct, but that is the intention right now. I hope it doesn't turn into like an overlooking like producer role. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be a lot less exciting. In any case, I think it's really exciting because I also, it's been known, Spielberg's been very open with his opinion that superhero movies will go the same way as the Western. Depressing death. But this will probably not involve much of a superhero, considering it's Black Hawk and it's like a war film, right? Yeah, they're an elite squadron of like flying aces that will probably be some sort of... They've existed in their DC characters, and they've existed over the years, so like there's not necessarily a reason why it would be like in World War II, but I'm guessing with Spielberg coming on, it's going to be some sort of like throwback pulp thing, a la an Indiana Jones, or like, not that everything that he does like has to be like that, but like that's definitely his kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I feel you. I mean, it makes sense that they would want to do another throwback thing back in the past as well, because since Wonder Woman was their best movie by far, so I can see them wanting to do more stuff in that time period. So
yeah, I'm curious if this is even remotely connected, and it is very interesting that Spielberg, who, like you said, has come out and said, like, voiced his not distaste. It didn't sound like he was saying like
just
those movies are bad. Just like that he didn't think that he thought it was a fad, basically.
Yes.
He doesn't think they're going to be around for long. And I think it's interesting that he specifically signed on to this movie, which is like, I feel like whether or not it has any kind of connection, I don't know that you would call this movie a superhero movie at all. Like, it's just going to be like probably like a really pulpy action movie about pilots, Like,
I'm pumped.
I don't know if they're going to fight the Nazis or some kind of analog of the Nazis like Captain America did, but like it'll be something like that probably.
Yeah,
is my guess.
I can feel that. Okay, but yeah, other than that, I'm better with that directing. What if he directed New Gods instead of Ava DuVernay? We don't even know if it's gonna be bad yet. We shouldn't judge it. We don't even know.
I want that movie to be good.
I know, Doug.
Shh.
It's okay. It's okay, Doug.
Wrinkle in Time was so bad.
Doug, it's okay. We're gonna move on into more movie news. It's okay. Here's more movie news. So we had some more news on the Fox Disney saga. Someone, I guess, sat in on a Fox higher-ups meeting and reported that Dark Phoenix will be the last proper Fox Marvel movie. So, and that's coming out in 2019. They said the deal is going to be done or whatever, and that, the plan is apparently that the X-Men and everything will be integrated after that. But what does this mean for New Mutants if Dark Phoenix is the last Fox Marvel movie? What does it mean?
I assume this just means put into development. Like, they have put so much time and money into...
It's made already.
They're still making it. They're still filming it. They went back into heavy production. Remember, they're reshooting half of that movie.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So, but yeah, I assume that just means, that Dark Phoenix was the last movie put into production, and they won't be, creating any new projects based on X-Men properties.
Well, yeah, which ones did they have? They had, a multiple man concept. They had,
I assume that stuff is never going to see the light of day. They had that. They announced an X-Force movie, or I don't know if they announced it, but it's been a pretty open thing, and they're building to it in Deadpool. It's a weird moment in that franchise. They're just they're not going to get to go anywhere with that. They're very clearly introducing that concept and that team in this new movie, and that's going to go nowhere.
Maybe in some multiversal crises in the future MCU, we'll see them. No, one can hope. But let's move on. I didn't even know this was this week. It is a solicitations week.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. Let me get my little thing out. This is the first solicitations that I'm going to lead since it lands on a Jack Host day. But I can do it because I am one with Marvel. For July, we have a lot of previous announced stuff. So this is not much new. We got Captain America by Coates and you. Doug, I didn't know you were doing this.
Yeah, I'm doing it. It
says you are doing it.
Captain America by Ta-Nehisi Coates and Lineal Francis Yu.
Very cool. So that should be fun. That's after, I guess, Wade is going to leave before July at some point. He's probably going to have one more run or something and then leave.
This is all part of Marvel's fresh start.
Fresh start.
Yeah, so this is one of the big relaunches. He was writing Black Panther for a number of years. Still is. He's writing the relaunch, which is also coming out that month. But, yeah.
Fun. So then we have Amazing Spider-Man post Dan Slott by Nick Spencer and Ryan Ottley. I think you talked about Nick Spencer, but I haven't read anything by Nick Spencer, I don't think.
That's not true. He's co-writing Damnation.
Oh, okay. Cool. What's not true?
That you haven't read a book by him.
Oh, okay. Give me a break. I'm sorry. When I think Damnation, I think Donny Cates, okay?
I'm just saying. It's co-written by Nick Spencer. So.
All right. So this is Nick Spencer, co-writing Nick Spencer and Ryan Ottley. Or is that artist Ryan Ottley?
That's the artist.
Okay, cool. Cool. Well, that should be fun. Another Amazing Spider-Man. I think... Oh, wait, no. There was some Amazing Spider-Man thing on free... My local comic book shop gave me like a list of comics that I can reserve since I'm current with my poll. So they'll put those 5 comics in my slot. And Amazing Spider-Man is one of them. So I wonder if that's just a Dan Slott continuation one.
I don't know what you mean, what you're talking about right now.
My comic book shop gave me for free comic book day. They gave me
for
a
free
sheet.
Comic book day. Gotcha.
I said that.
I missed that.
You missed a lot. In any case, we also have Cosmic Ghost Rider by Donny Cates, art by Dylan Burnett. That should be great. Super pumped.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Donny Cates,
he's also doing the one-shot Death of the Inhumans with the artist Ariel Olivetti. So that should be fun as well. I'm pumped. It should be great.
Will it be fun?
I don't know. It'll be more fun than ABC's Inhumans.
I have a feeling it's going to be crushing. But
it'll be sad. Yeah. But I'm excited because it'll be well written at least.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now tell me, so Donny Cates right now has Cosmic Ghost Rider series and Venom series in this fresh start, and he has this one shot. Shouldn't he have more?
I mean, he's doing 2 books right now. Some different people do take on different amounts of comics. I guess so. Publishers. He's also he's still doing a bunch of other other publisher stuff. I
read the number 1 of Baby Teeth, which was really good. I just didn't want to go through the trouble of getting all of it. I didn't feel that much of a need. It's really cool though.
Yeah, he's got a lot of horror stuff out there that I haven't read, but yeah, including that. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
In any case,
the new one. What?
Do you know what this next book is?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I remember from Logan. That's this bitch, right?
Okay, well. This character, yes, was in Logan.
X-23, Laura.
Yes, there's no need to call her bitch. Okay.
I'm sorry. She is kind of a fearsome bitch, isn't she? As a character?
She's a child in that movie, but okay.
Well, the character now is a fearsome bitch, yes?
Okay. Moving on. Yeah, this is new series about X-23. This will be just after Wolverine Logan has just come back and taken back the mantle of Wolverine, because she was Wolverine for a number of years.
Wait, what do you mean I didn't know Wolverine was a mantle.
Any character is a mantle if you put someone else in it. And
that's his That's weird though, right?
Why?
Wolverine was I guess not. I guess whatever. All of it is marketing and whatever. It makes sense. Okay, never mind.
She is created from his genes, yes, which is why she has his powers.
Okay, so she's has denim powers and stuff, right?
She has denim powers?
Yeah, you said she's created from his genes.
Oh boy.
In any case, have you ever read anything from Mariko Tamaki?
I have not. I have also never read anything about X-23, including her Wolverine stuff, and I feel like I'm missing out on something because I've heard good things about all of her books, and I am interested to maybe try this, depending on how busy my week is.
Okay, cool. I'll probably do it. Is this why does it say issue 1 and 2? Are they both coming out at the same time? Are they 2 weeks apart?
It means it's twice monthly.
That's expensive for Twice Monthly, right? Or is that DC that I'm thinking of?
It looks like the first one is $4.99. It says it's 40 pages. Both the first two issues are kind of oversized. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, that should be fun. I might pick that up too because that's interesting. Also, why? Have you ever heard of a pet named Jonathan?
I don't know what the fuck that means. Again, I don't know if this is an existing idea or not. I've never read any X-23 things, but they do mention in the solicitation her pet, or their pet Jonathan.
Their
pet Jonathan.
Whatever. I would love to call a pet, like a dog, Jonathan. Oh, good point, Jonathan. That's such a weird, oh, William, good job. There are just names that are just not good.
Okay, so this other character, Gabby, is kind of like her sidekick character, and her name is Honey Badger, and I think she literally has, a Honey Badger or a Wolverine, and that's probably Jonathan. I'm going to look that up right now if you want to keep talking.
It. Okay, I'll keep talking. Next, we got DC. They also previously announced some books. Catwoman by Joelle Jones, we announced already. Superman, the new Jewish Superman by Brian Michael Bendis and Ivan Reis. Should be fun. We had Action Comics 1000 that we'll talk about later. I'm super excited. Action Comics also with Brian Michael Bendis and Patrick Gleason, not to be confused with Brendan Gleeson. Justice League Dark, which we already talked about, by James Tynion IV or Scott Snyder Light and Alvaro Martinez. And then also Justice League Odyssey by Josh Williamson and Stjepan Sjejic.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fun. Cool.
Yep.
And then, what is it? Oh, wow, this is cool. Batman number 50. Is there, okay, it is a landmark but it is a self-defined 50, not like they've had 50 issues of Batman on history, you know?
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's 50 in this relaunch, but it also means it's 50 issues of Tom King's Batman, which I think is
Did he start at 1?
Yeah, it's a twice monthly book, so it's only been coming out for 25 months. But
okay, couple years.
He's written 50 issues, which I think is cool.
That's super cool.
If you read Tom King's Batman, that's almost as long as Scott Snyder was on the book in terms of number of issues.
Huh,
which is cool.
Okay, I'm pumped. I'll probably pick this up because why not? Loving me some Tom King right now.
I'll let you know around that time if it seems like
shit's gonna happen.
Well,
up.
If you'll be able to just jump into this, because I know there's going to be stuff happening around this with the Joker and shit, and I don't know how much this is actually going to have to do with any of that, or if this is just going to be the wedding finally happened. You know, if that's just going to be the lead up to it, and this is just, I'm guessing this is just going to be all on its own, just a story about the wedding. I'm willing to bet you could jump in.
Okay. And then the last thing, Image announced the end of Descender by Jeff Lemire, number 32, which, you're reading this right now. Didn't you have a new issue this week as well?
I did. Because we're recording early this week, I have not had time to read that and a couple of other of my books. But, yep, there was a new issue of Descender this week. That book is great.
Is this something I should consume at some point in the future?
At some point. It's Jeff Lemire. He's great, generally. Yeah. You've read some Jeff Lemire stuff.
I have now.
And you seem to have really enjoyed it.
I have really enjoyed it. It's been very fun. I've, for everyone, I have been reading Black Hammer, so I could catch up. I'm caught up on Dr. Star as well, which is great, by the way. Big fan. And then Black Hammer, God, we'll talk about that a little bit later.
I mean, we'll talk about it in just a sec here.
Actually, yeah, that's the end of news. So, okay, yeah, you're right. Shut up, Doug. In any case, no, I'm just kidding. You're great, Doug. We're going to move on into current comics.
Mm-hmm.
We have some books that we both read. Some exciting ones. This is so exciting. So we both read Action Comics 1000, Avengers number 689, the second to last, the penultimate, issue of that No Surrender arc, Black Hammer, Age of Doom number 1, which is, continuing that story. Fun. Justice League number 43, which is the end of that arc before No Justice. And Mr. Miracle number 8.
Mm-hmm.
Doug, what'd you get?
I also got Batman number 45, the previously mentioned December number 29, Superman number 45, and The Damned number 9.
Damn it!
And you also got some extra books in addition.
I did. I got Cave Carson Has an Interstellar Eye number 2, which I'm dropping.
Yeah, with eager listeners will know that or I guess attentive listeners will know that I was previously reading that book. In fact, I was reading that book through the whole first volume. You jumped on with this new volume to read along with me, and we both I decided just before this Wednesday to drop that book, and you...
Good move.
You picked up the next issue and then decided to drop it.
There's literally one thing that I liked about it, and I'm just going to really quickly say it. They're the villain or whatever that they set up. They're a race of people that are obsessed with chaos and whatever, and like changes in, I don't know. They're obsessed with chaos. So literally, like 3 times throughout the issue, one person kills their leader and says, "I'm the leader now." And so it keeps saying like, "I'm the leader now." No, I'm the leader now. So that's actually pretty amusing. But otherwise, it's not that great.
It's a fun book. It's not like mind blowing,
Yeah. Exactly. One other note. Oh, the other thing I got was Skyward number 1, which I wasn't originally going to get, but I did catch my eye a couple days before Wednesday. The reason I got it mostly was because I saw the author. He was at my local comic book store in Culver City, California. And I met him. His name's Joe Henderson. Super nice. He talked to me a little bit about it. I really love... Okay, so what I really love about this book is I love the art. It looks beautiful. And, let me set this up too. So this book is about, like, Earth, like, in a little bit of a future. And it's basically the gravity has now shifted so that it's more like the gravity on the moon as opposed to, what we regularly have. So, like, if you jump, you can jump over a building. But if you jump too high, you float into the atmosphere and you die. So yeah, it's pretty great. It hooks you into the concept really well, and I love the art. And the colors, same colorist as the person who did colors on Thanos, Fabella.
Antonio Fabella.
The art actually is very reminiscent of Saga as well. It reminds me a lot of that for some reason. I don't know.
Is it kind of painterly in that way?
A little bit, yeah. I think you would really like the art, actually, specifically in this. But I'm definitely getting the next one. It hooks you into the concept. I really like the concept, and I'm pumped. This guy's apparently a writer for Lucifer on Fox. Have you heard of that show?
I think is he the writer, or is he like the showrunner?
He said he was the writer, but maybe he was just thinking that way because he writes most.
I might be misremembering, but
I have no idea. But that's a comic too, right?
It is, yes, based on a comic called Lucifer.
This is his first comic book though. So he signed my number 1. So I was pretty pumped, very happy. And then really quick note before we get into the comics or whatever. We talked previously about that Hickman Weaver Shield series that is going to get a continuation sometime in the next couple months, I think, right?
It's coming out. I think it's starting next month. I don't remember how they're releasing them because it's only the last 2 issues, right?
Yes, last 2 issues.
I think those are coming out next month.
Okay, this was just so everyone knows, this was a series that was started in 2010. So they had an arc before this one that was unfinished that finished and everything, had a volume out and everything. So that was like 2010. So I got my copy because I ordered that because I wanted to read it. This book has been sitting in a box for like 8 years. Seriously. I opened it and like it just every single page cracks. Like you know how old books do that when ones that you haven't opened in a long time? It was so funny because I was like, holy shit. Like, I don't know. You don't really think of things from 2010 being that old, but like this shit was old. I don't know.
That's funny.
And it was so fast. Like, I put it on my poll like 2 weeks ago or something, and they gave it to me this week. So it must have been just like, oh yeah, give him that. Well, that's been sitting in there for 8 years.
You activated some horrible spell by cracking open that tome.
I'm Buona Beast now.
Okay.
That's what it is. I am.
You're just him now.
I'm just him. But by the way, art in that looks fucking awesome. I'm pumped to read that. It looks so cool. But anyways, we're gonna do our spoiler warning now. Ugh.
Why'd it go down and then turn into a growl that time? Usually it goes up.
We're gonna do our cover of the week right now. Doug, what was your cover of the week? I'm looking at it right now.
Cool. My favorite cover this week was on Superman number 45. We're celebrating this week not only Action Comics number 1000, but also, just in general, that coincided with the 80th anniversary of Superman and his first issue in Action Comics. So they had kind of a... Well, this is also the last issue of Tomasi and Gleason's Superman. So it's like, for a number of reasons, there's like, this is like a special issue in this series. And it's just like, it's a really nice, classic looking image of, they're out in this series, Lois and Clark and their son Jonathan and Krypto, live out.
Krypto the super dog.
They live out on a farm in Hamilton, which is a, like, city out in the country a few hundred miles away from Metropolis.
Upstate New York.
Basically. It's upstate from Metropolis.
Okay.
And they, so they've been living on this farm to raise their kid. And so it's them kind of walking through the not cornfield. This is like I don't know, it's just grass.
Grass.
It's just some grass. It's like amber, like, fall grass, or maybe it's wheat.
I don't think it's
brown. It's probably, there's green stuff in the background. I think it's supposed to be wheat.
Maybe it's supposed to be wheat. You're right. Okay, but it's very short wheat.
Yeah. Anyways,
unless they were just really tall.
They're walking through this field, and they're holding hands, and Jonathan's playing with Krypto, and there's the clouds in the sky have made the Superman symbol, and it's just a really classic-looking, clean, very evocative image of Superman, and kind of the sense of, like, optimism, and kind of encapsulates a lot of what I've liked about this series when it has worked. It's a really good cover. It's a really, really good cover. Yeah,
it's just, it's very calming. Like, it makes you feel something, you know? And it's like, there's so many covers that have, like I think you say, like, covers are busy a lot of times. And it's nice to have something that's just,
And it's a very clear, like, they had an idea about this cover. A lot of superhero comic covers are just like, who's in the issue? Let's put them all on the cover and let's make them all punch. You know?
Yeah.
Like, let's get as many of them as possible and let's clutter it up. And it'd be as literal as possible about the issue. And this is just like a nice, like, he had an idea for a very clear image and he got it out and it just works really well. The colors are also very pretty. I don't know if this was the interior colorist or not, but.
All right. You know, that one, I think, maybe it's the cover artist. Is the cover artist Tomasi, or is it someone different?
Tomasi and Gleason are both the writers on this series, and Gleason is the artist sometimes.
Okay.
He is, like, the main artist on the series, but, not always.
For some reason,
he did this cover.
For some reason, I feel like the colorist on this is just kind of a downer, though. You know?
What?
He's just kind of a downer.
Who's the colorist on this?
I don't know. The other name other than Gleason and Tomasi is Downer. So I assume, isn't he the colorist then?
Again, this is one of the issues that I have not read this week, so I don't know who colored this. Let me see. Stephen Downer.
He's kind of a downer.
It does say he covered the color. Colored the cover.
He covered the color.
He covered the color.
Today we are covering the color blue.
This is covers colored. This is
brought to you by Harry's Shavers.
Colors covered.
Wait, is it Harry's Shavers that a lot of podcasts do advertising for?
Harry's. They make razors or something.
Yeah, apparently it's a good deal. I listened. Oh, whatever. Let's go on.
Let's give advertising to advertisers who don't pay us.
Blue Apron, Harry Shavers,
whose products we don't use
at all. In any case, oh, am I making weird noises?
Oh my god. Move on.
Okay, the cover of the week is Mr. Miracle. My cover of the week. Sorry, my cover of the week is Mr. Miracle. Because Mr. Miracle is fantastic, and there's so much thought put into everything, and the general, like, themes of everything, and so this cover is Big Barda, who looks not like Big Barda, usually. Right?
You mean on the cover?
On the cover.
What do you mean?
She doesn't look...
Nick Darrington, who does these covers, doesn't really draw her quite like Mitch Garrett's, the guy on Interiors does.
But it's, like, very different. Like, she has a different body type and everything.
Oh, yeah, because Mitch Garrett's, like, goes out of his way to, like, draw her as this very big, bulky woman. And it works really well. She's, like, she has a very interesting figure in the way Mitch Garrett's draws it. Yeah, and I love it. Nick Darrington just kind of draws her as just, like...
Lois Lane.
Comic book woman, you know... She kind of looks
like Lois Lane or Jane Foster. Or
she looks like generic comic book woman. Again, I really like Nick Darrington's art. Nick Darrington, fantastic artist.
In any case, this cover is Big Barda and a very depressed-looking Scott-Free Mr. Miracle sitting on top of a huge pile of dead bodies. And Mr. Miracle with a large sword in his hand. Just tired out, man. And he's chained up. Okay, so this is my theory for this cover. So he has chains on one hand that are seen to be broken, but the chains on the other hand are not.
Okay.
So I think he's chained to something. I think he's escaped halfway, but he's not escaped fully because he's chained. Still.
Yeah, I mean, like. A big part of this issue, for anyone who's not reading this series, we gave you the spoiler warning. They just had a baby, and the issue is, I'm only just putting this now together because you pointed this out, but this issue is about Mr. Miracle and Big Barda, his wife, basically taking turns at, quote, work, which is the
battlefield.
They're the leaders of the New Gods army, and they're waging war against Apocalypse. So they have to spend half their time at work and half their time at home with the baby. And
Funky.
And so he's got one, and this whole series has been about Scott-Free, like, feeling like he's trapped in his life on Apocalypse and not wanting to be a part of it, or on New Genesis and all the New Gods shit, anyway. And so, he's here, he's chained to the literal Earth here on Apocalypse, and the other hand has broken free. So, he is, he's spending half of his life in this free place with his family that makes him happy, and half of his life chained to this part of himself that he hates and doesn't want to be a part of. But he has to.
He has to do it. But, reasons. It's just, like... I know it's the cover of the week, but it's because it's reminiscent of the entire issue, and the entire issue is just amazing. Like, if you're not reading this book, read this fucking book. Like, it's just so good.
Jack will find you, and Jack will hurt you if you are not reading this book.
Seriously. But in any case, I just love it. And also, I just wanted to make a quick note. I saw online that apparently, this is number 8 of Mr. Miracle. Apparently number 9 is usually where Tom King, like, has shit happen. I don't know. Apparently he's known for that, but we have to wait till June 6th now for the next issue.
Oh, are they taking...
They're taking a month off. Yeah. So...
I am not complaining. The breaks on this book are, they telegraph ahead of time, and they're usually only a month or whatever. Yeah. And the fucking quality is, I'll wait for it. But...
No, you're right.
Yeah.
But anyways, great. And so let's do our picks. Doug, what book that's, not a big deal at all did you pick?
I just felt like we had to talk about it. So
we do. We totally do.
Every week we pick our books that we're most excited to talk about. I put a note in here. I feel like we need to have a name for this because every week we just kind of set this up by just like rambling about what exactly the idea of this is. Anyways, every week we pick the book we are most excited to talk about, and it isn't necessarily the book we think is the best book or whatever, but it's the book we think we have the most to say about or that we want to talk the most.
Doug gave two suggestions for this title. One was, I gotta talk about this, and the other was too literal.
Okay, the second part was not a suggestion. The second part was me asking if that was too literal.
I wanna call it too literal.
Too literal. That doesn't
this
make
week
any
in
sense.
Too Literal, right?
That sounds like a name of a podcast.
Right.
So I wanted to talk about Action Comics 1000, which is the big landmark issue of, we've had 1,000 issues of Action Comics, and if anyone is like completely new to comics, Action Comics is the book in which Superman debuted, and which is one of the ongoing Superman books, which, we reached quadruple digits. And we had this big anthology 80-page issue this week, which had stories by the regular writer Dan Jurgens of Action Comics. We had a story by the writer of Superman that we already mentioned, Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason did a story. We also had stories by lots and lots of super A-list talent. Like, we had a story by Jeff Johns with Richard Donner, and art by Olivier Coipel. We had a story by Scott Snyder and Raphael Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Story by Tom King and Clay Mann.
I really liked his art, by the way. Clay Mann was killing it. I loved it.
Fucking Brad Meltzer wrote a story with John Cassaday, which was the best John Cassaday art I've seen in a long time. John Cassaday has not really been a thing in a while.
Really?
And I used to love John Cassaday, and John Cassaday killed it on this.
Which one was he? Which one did he do?
The Faster Than a Speeding Bullet.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, so what I wanted to talk about, I just want to talk, like, run down the stories and, like, if we liked them or not. And then kind of talk about Bendis' debut, because Brian Michael Bendis is taking over both Action Comics and Superman starting in July, which we noted. And he had his first story in the end of this book, and so I wanted to talk about that very briefly. Okay. But first off, just what was your favorite story in here, do you think?
My favorite story... now, this is coming from someone, I have literally never read a Superman story.
Wait, you've never read a Superman?
Never.
At all?
Never.
Oh boy, we gotta recommend you some stuff. I did not know that about you. I knew you hadn't read much, but I didn't know you hadn't read any.
I've never read any Superman-specific story.
Oh, I got some stuff for you. Okay.
Okay, I'm excited.
But anyways, coming from an complete outsider perspective on comics about Superman, what was the one that kind of spoke to you the most?
Either I really liked Scott Snyder's. Honestly, I really liked Marv Wolfman's. Or Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns.
Oh, Jeff Johns. Yeah, you keep getting those mixed up for some reason.
Sorry, I do. Because they're right next to each other, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I think a lot of these writers are new to you, so I don't blame you. But
I think in terms of like, art and writing and just how it's done, I really liked Jeff Johns and Connolly and Donner. And I think that was my favorite all around because it's very simple. It's a great moral and it's a really just wholesome like story.
To give you a little bit of
sorry.
Okay.
Also, my favorite moment in this issue specifically was him looking and we see a panel of him looking and you see a bird. See a panel of him looking and it's a plane. And then we see a panel of him looking, it's you.
The next page he says, it's me.
It's me. God, it's great.
I forgot about the. Okay, well, I already committed to my panels of the week.
No, that'll be my backup segment because you think mine is too long.
But okay, so just a couple things on this. So one, I think I pointed this out to you that this is so it's Jeff Johns writing with Richard Donner, who is the director of the original Superman movies.
Oh yeah, you did tell me that.
So that's pretty cool. I think they've written some stuff together before, at least one other thing, but I've never read it. But this is a story called The Car, and basically, you probably didn't realize this in reading this. Have you ever seen the cover of Action Comics #1, the debut of Superman?
No.
If you want to Google that right now, or I can link you to it, he is lifting a large green beetle and smashing it. Or not a beetle, but a green
car.
And
I've literally thought you meant like a insect.
No, like a Volkswagen. But it's like a round looking old 50s, 40s car.
That's cool.
I guess it would be 39. I think that's when that issue came out. But this is an issue about the car, which is the car from the cover of Action Comics #1, and who was in, because the story, I don't think the story is actually about that has that moment in it, but this is about, like, if that happened, who was in that car, and what happened to him, and what happened to the car, and they kind of make the car into a sort of metaphor for redemption.
That is
Superman's kind of faith in people.
That's really cool. That makes this even better. God.
Right? Like, it's great.
It's so short, but there's so much within it that's just so nice. And even if you don't understand that, it's just really enjoyable. And also, I really like this art. Who is this?
Oh, yeah. Olivier Coipel? Yeah. Olivier Coipel is great. If you want more Olivier Coipel, he's doing a series with Mark Millar, who I believe you've never read a book by. So they're doing that weird Netflix produced comic.
Oh yeah,
that's coming called The Magic Order. That's I believe that's Olivier Coipel. I'll look that up. But that's coming out in a couple months. I think that was on June's solicitations. Solicitations. Let me tell you about the solicitations, Sonny.
Yes, I love it when he gets tricked into doing impressions. Hey, that's a good Sean Connery, I think.
Yeah, Olivier Coipel is doing that. So, so you can definitely see some more art from him. This art is beautiful.
It's great.
I definitely agree with you.
So yeah, that was my favorite story. What's yours?
Yeah, just like your story, I mean, like, all the best stories in here are super short.
Yes.
And they're all, for the most part, done really well in terms of telling a very short story. You know, like, a lot of times comic book shorts like this can feel like they're just very abrupt and like, oh, all right, it's over. And it just kind of ends.
Yeah.
But I feel like most of the, like, 4 or 5 pagers in here, and there's a few of them, are super, super strong. And those are where most of the, like, A-list talent is on those really short ones. My favorite, you already mentioned, is probably this, what is the name of it? The 5th Season by Scott Snyder and Raphael Albuquerque.
Oh, yeah.
Which is also going to be my moment of the week. I'll get back to it. But basically, so it's a story about it's just kind of a conversation between Lex and Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Superman's come to confront Lex about stealing some stuff that could potentially kill him. And Lex is like, well, how do you know I'm going to do something evil with it? And just like the whole thing takes place in this planetarium. They're talking about Lex is talking about his past, and they're kind of bonding. And it's just, the art is beautiful, and the dialogue's all super on point because it's Scott Snyder. I just really like that story. It's just a nice little character piece on Superman and Lex Luthor. But there's some really great stuff in here. There's another really great story by Tom King and Clay Mann that's about kind of like Superman, like, hundreds of years in the future or whatever, still living, like...
Thousands. Millions.
Thousands, yeah, like, kind of mourning...
Heat death of the Earth.
The heat death of the Earth, yeah. And then, that fucking Brad Meltzer and John Cassaday one. I keep forgetting about that one. That one's also maybe my favorite. It's just, that story, Faster Than a Speeding Bullet, is just basically, like, Superman is racing. He has heard that there is a woman being held hostage by a man with a gun in a train station, and he is racing to stop the bullet from, like, outside the city. Like, he's flying into the city from, like, miles and miles away. And he's racing and doing the math in his head on, like, how fast does a bullet go? I'm not gonna make it. He's talking about, like, there's, like, a panel with, like, the breakdown of the inside of the gun with all the mechanics and stuff. And it's all just kind of his internal dialogue as he races to try to stop this. The woman ends up kind of pushes back just enough, and it gives him just that extra fraction of a second that he needs to get there in time. And it's a super simple, basic idea, just done really, really well. Gets some nice commentary on the character, and that might also be my favorite. There's some really great stuff in here. What did you think of your first Bendis story? I liked it. It hooks you into, I guess, what the plot will be of the next one. It wasn't much. It's just kind of like what that, like the first conflict that he has. He looks pretty beaten up. It's actually pretty interesting because I assume they haven't laid into what destroyed Krypton at all. But I always was under the impression that it was just like an environmental thing, but they're trying to say that this asshole did it. That's the classic reasoning, is just that, like, the sun exploded or the planet exploded or whatever. I don't remember what it currently is, but some natural disaster caused the explosion or the destruction of Krypton, and they're implying in this that this new villain, whose name I've forgotten, it's Rogol Zar. Rogol Zar. He is an ugly motherfucker. Yes. I am finding not really much to latch onto in terms of visual design of this character. Yeah. He's just kind of like a Cronenberg. I'm a big, ugly guy with lots of teeth. Sure. His face kind of looks like there's skin plastered over it, like Joker did when Scott Snyder was writing. You know what I mean? He looks like he's been burned by acid or something. Yeah. It's Two-Face. I'm just kidding. But no, I liked this. It was good. I'm excited. Is this Supergirl coming to help? Yep. Okay. Yep. That's Supergirl. What's her name again? Kara Zor-El. Kara Zor-El. Okay. But yeah, no, I liked it. I mean, I'm excited to continue it. Like, I'm definitely going to try and do it. I really like the moment of him trying to stop himself before going through the window. Yeah, that was probably the highlight, was just like, that's the kind of stuff that, like, okay, so since I think you asked, like, I've never read a Bendis book before. You put a note in here about, like, what exactly is in this that defines a Bendis book. Exactly, I wanted to ask that. And, like, it's stuff like that. It's like this, it's that kind of moment that's, like, it's well kind of plotted in terms of, like, the rhythm of it. Yeah. Like, it's a nice comedic beat, and he spends a whole page on just that. Like, it's nothing to do with the plot. But it's just, like, a nice little, like, he gets hit, he blacks out, he wakes up while he's flying just in time to see that, like, he's about to smash through a bookstore window. Yeah. And, like, uses his flying powers to, like, slow himself to a stop just as he touches the glass. Mm-hmm. And he has a moment to kind of relax, to, like, catch his breath before he turns back around. It's just, like, it's him, like, putting the priority on stuff that's not always just the big action, although he does do big action. Yeah. But, like, that's also, let me ask, because it seems to me, like, you were telling me about what makes Superman specifically a good person to write about, like, even if he's invulnerable and everything like that, like, I feel like this kind of moment is one of those things, like, it's a whole moment of him trying to make sure not everybody else gets hurt. Yeah. Right?
So that could be like those kind of moments with Brian Michael Bendis writing could be like what really like makes and paces out these action sequences really awesomely.
Also, what makes a Bendis book is these super long extended sequences of these people in this coffee shop bantering about Superman and like talking about, is Superman hot and stuff like that, you know, like it's just he writes banter. He writes lots and lots of banter and long conversation scenes. Like it or leave it, you know, that's his style.
Quentin Tarantino.
You know, like in a broad, like,
well, yeah, not
kind of
like
conceptual sense.
These fuckers are whatever. Yeah, not that, but
yeah, but I mean, like, yeah, he does write like long sequences of people just kind of shooting the shit.
I like that.
And he's talked about, I think, in interviews about how he wants to kind of make Metropolis more of a character. No, but he wants to kind of make like the people of Metropolis and kind of like that city a more kind of enriched and real feeling place.
Yeah.
So,
you know, he did literally say he wanted to exploit Metropolis as a character, right?
Did he actually literally say that though?
I'm pretty sure he literally said that.
Anyways, what he means by that is he wants to explore the people of Metropolis and make the city feel real. I also kind of like, and this isn't necessarily a Bendis thing, but I like the implication in this that, like, the extended Superman family is going to, like, there's a big presence of Supergirl in this little short issue, which is not necessarily always the case with Superman stuff.
Huh, but they're all in Metropolis, aren't they?
Yeah, but Superman books, depending on the book, don't always, like, hugely involve the, like, supporting Superman cast other than, like, Lois and now, like, their son.
And Crypto.
And Crypto now. Yeah. But I like the idea. I hope we get a lot more Supergirl and, like, more stuff between them, and I hope he digs into the other Superman-related characters, like Steel and...
Steel?
You know? You probably haven't read anything with Steel. Steel is... he's basically robot Superman.
Oh.
He's not a robot, but he's got like a steel-looking Iron Man kind of suit.
Does he look like Colossus?
I'm kind of, you know, he looks like a metal Superman.
So yeah, Colossus Superman.
He's got a big metal hammer.
Oh.
And
damn.
A red cape and a Superman emblem on his chest.
Huh.
He's Steel. And he's great.
Okay, cool.
So that's Action Comics number 1. I think, yeah, like...
Number 1. We got a lot of money under us right now.
Did I say number 1?
Yes.
Action Comics number 1000. Jesus. We're going to be hitting 1001 because they're not renumbering for Bendis. They're renumbering Superman.
Oh.
But not Action Comics.
Good for them, though. I like that.
It's just, sure.
Whatever. It's exciting. This is probably like the first comic that's still going on that is going to have...
Oh, it's definitely the first comic that's reached that high of a number.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
What else did you want to talk about this week, Jack?
My pick for this week was Black Hammer: Age of Doom. And I really wanted, like, okay, don't get me wrong, love this issue, but I kind of wanted to also generally talk about, like, you know, I read all these volumes within a matter of 2 days, and it's really great. Like, I love this exploration of super, like, this feels like they lost, kind of, and they're living in this hell, and I love the idea of them, like, experiencing these just mundane, small-town drama shit.
Yeah.
They could fuck everyone else up, but they can't.
So...
What?
Real quick. So you just caught up on this book. Can you just real quick explain...
Oh, set it up?
The premise and what this book is.
Okay. These folks... Okay, imagine if the Justice League, after a big battle with a, cosmic creature, were thought to be dead, but instead were teleported to a farm in a small town that they couldn't escape for 10 years. What would they do? How would they act? What would they talk about?
This is
basically
this is by Jeff Lemire, Dean Ormston, and this is the newly relaunched, like they're just They're just renumbering it. They're calling it Black Hammer: Age of Doom. It's a new number 1, but it's just a continuation of the other book. There's not necessarily anything really different.
Yeah, it really is. I was kind of, since we heard about this, I was expecting a much different kind of end than what I got. You know what I mean? I was expecting them to like get out of the thing, and this was going to be a whole new thing, but nope.
I think it's just literally like new number 1, so that maybe people will pay attention to it and pick more issues of it up.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that's fine with me because more people should be reading this book, and it doesn't hurt the quality of the book itself.
Oh no, not at all. It's God. I'm really like, what the fuck is Madame Dragonfly doing?
Yeah, she's on some shit. So yeah, we haven't been able to talk about this book before. I've been reading it, but you just like binged the first 2 volumes of the first book, and caught up to pick this issue up, as well as Dr. Starry. I think you said all that, but now we're able to kind of talk about this book, and it's just, yeah, I just wanted to get our thoughts just kind of on the series in general out there. Like, it's just like the best blend of like quiet character development and like, it's not a book about superheroics. It's not even like a blend of that and like them doing superhero stuff, but it's like high-minded superhero kind of sci-fi.
Yeah.
Mixed with this kind of like small town drama, like where they're stuck there, and it's a really interestingly structured book. And
I'm a big fan. Also, I have a question. Wait, I might have forgotten this. So Colonel Weird, he knows what's going on too, right? It's both Colonel Weird and Madame Dragonfly, right?
Colonel Weird, who's a kind of Adam Strange kind of character. I don't know if you know who Adam Strange is.
Maybe no idea who that is.
Maybe listeners know who Adam Strange is. Maybe he's Colonel Weird, but not crazy. Anyways, Colonel Weird is basically, what if Adam Strange was out in space doing space shit so long he went crazy?
Yeah.
So Colonel Weird has access to a place called the Parazone, I believe, which basically allows him to see through time. And so he kind of like sort of knows everything that's going to happen. He's got kind of a weird little bit of a Dr. Manhattan thing in that he kind of is like experiencing everything at once a little bit.
Yeah.
But he has like no control and like is also kind of crazy. So like, he's not super clear all the time in terms of like, cause he can't just like warn them about stuff. Cause he's like, he's like broken, you know?
Yeah.
Like he's not able to communicate to them like, oh, this bad thing's gonna happen. Cause he's gone insane.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he does theoretically know what's coming up. Although in this issue, it freaks him out that something happens and he's like, that's not right. That's not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Like what happened to break the sequence of events?
Well, I assume it's Lucy Weber.
Yeah. And what the fuck is going on there? So Lucy got teleported into this weird like bar full of like horror characters.
Yeah.
Where they're having like a metal concert or something. It's super weird.
It's great. It's so great. I love this. Like part of me can't even explain like what's so good about it. Like, because it seems like just a regular superhero like thing, but it's just so good. It's a great mystery in terms of how it's slowly doling out the information, and also just like the character development is super well done. These characters feel very fleshed out and real, even though it's this very silly, fantastical story, you know? Yeah. But like you get just enough of that quiet character stuff that like you feel like you really get to know them. Mm-hmm. Also, I this is more from the last volumes, from the last arc, but I want to talk about it. So Black Hammer, when he was alive, is kind of a dick, right?
He wasn't really a dick. It was that like they were making this point that like he was making a choice between like being a hero and being with his family, and he was kind of choosing to be a hero, which like yes. Is not a good thing, but also he was doing very good things as a hero, and so they were kind of leaving it kind of like they weren't coming down on one side or another, but it definitely...
He was kind of a dick to Abraham Slam, though.
Was he? I don't remember that.
Yeah, because he's like, dude, stop doing this. You're fucking old. Like, I mean, he didn't say that, but like, he is like, I don't need your help. Like, stop it. I got this. Like, he was like, if Superman didn't respect people like trying to help and shit, I feel like, you know?
Well, it's like the Abraham Slam thing is like, what if Captain America didn't get frozen and he just aged?
Yeah.
And he just got old, but he didn't want to give up being Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
And like he was doing that like well past when he like there was like a whole bit I believe it was in this core series where like he was like trying to reinvent himself and like he was too old to keep doing it, you know?
Yeah.
And it was just kind of sad.
It was super depressing.
But, yeah, I think that was maybe more the implication was that like he was like, you really shouldn't be doing this, dude. I don't remember them ever making a point of having Black Hammer be like a dick, but I could be misremembering. I don't remember.
Well, he was also a little bit quick to say, "Oh, I can do that." Like, I feel like he's just a little bit conceited.
Oh, he's definitely like crazy. Like, not like I don't know. Like, he's not a wise character. He's a character who's like, I'm going to do the heroic thing, and here I go. Yeah, you know, like he just rushes into it. Like,
I'm gonna get dissolved.
He's not analyzing anything. He's just rushing into whatever he thinks is like the righteous move to do. Yeah, like an extreme version of like the kind of morality that a character like Superman has. You know,
mm-hmm. But yeah, you know, this is great. I'm a big fan. Excited for it to continue. Also excited for Dr. Starr. What do you think of Sherlock Frankenstein? Should I pick it up? Is it on the same tier as these ones?
I don't think it's like as necessary to read as either of these.
I'm not talking about necessary. I'm talking about quality.
Oh, it's definitely like it's a great book. Like it's not like you're gonna come away from that book being like, wow, this is incredible in the way that like maybe I don't know. Like it's definitely not like as good as Black Hammer. No. Yeah. But like it's a good book. And if you like the universe of Black Hammer and you want that fleshed out a bit more, like I really enjoyed it. Okay. And it's only, I think it's like 4 issues. It's three or 4 issues. So it's pretty short.
Okay. Cool. Should we move on to our panel of the weeks?
Panel of the weeks. I specifically changed it to panels of the week because I realized we had a whole thing last week about you wanted to do a sequence, and I was like, well, it's the panel of the week. We can't do that, so we extended it to be panel or sequence of the week. I figured just call it panels of the week.
Make it snappy. That's good. I don't know. Maybe it's a little too literal, but no. I'm just kidding. It's panels of the week. So my panels of the week. I broke yeah, exactly. We're like never going to have a specific panel anymore. No, we're going to do it. In any case, it was in Avengers. This is the penultimate. Really good issue, by the way. Big fan of this issue. I think it's doing a good job. But in any case, I really liked the conclusion of the card game for humanity between Lightning and Endweghast. That's his name, right? That's his real name?
I think that's his real name. The Grandmaster, for anyone who has seen Thor Ragnarok.
Yes. Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum's character, although he is blue and cosmic spaceman in this.
Yes.
I mean, he was a cosmic spaceman in that, but anyways.
In any case, I just really like that. This has been very bombastic, this entire story, and it's been good. It's just been like a lot. And I really enjoy that this, like, just interaction between two people, and it's been an arc that Lightning has had like, it was set up in the beginning. He started this entire series playing a card game in some random place.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that.
The first issue.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So now he's here playing a card game against the biggest gamester in the world, the Grandmaster. And he's been challenging him, and they've been having their poker game. But the final bet, after he's bet his life, he's bet Earth, he's bet whatever. I think those are the two things. His final bet was, I bet that if you win, you can allow us that no one will remember me whatsoever. Nothing at all that I have ever done. Nothing heroic. Not even what we're doing right now. No one has to know that we ever had a chance at all. that I ever had a chance of beating you. And Grandmaster's like, yo, but how do I... Oh, so I have to bet that too. So Grandmaster has to risk possibly no one ever knowing who he was, his whole entire legacy, this entire plan, every plan that he's had in the past, they would all be gone if he loses. And it is simply, my moment is that he decides that even though he has a ridiculously high hand, like a good hand in this poker game, he has to fold because the core amount of his being the core part of his being will not allow him to possibly have that happen. So I really love this moment because I think it's a great arc for both characters. And I think it's such a simple ending to, I don't know, this entire thing. Like, I can see how some people might not like it, like think that it might be seem trivial or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if anybody could see it like that, but I really love that it came down to this.
I think it's great. It's a great encapsulation of like this whole thing has been predicated on the idea of like all of this like mayhem is being caused over what is this very trivial, this game between these two people. And so ultimately it comes down to the most boiled down version of that, which is literally he challenges the Grandmaster to a game of cards, of Texas Hold'em.
Mm-hmm.
And he like makes the Grandmaster realize like something about himself, that like he just wants to be remembered, and he can't risk not being remembered. So it's like this dual like great encapsulation of the whole like conflict, and also like this great moment of character development for the Grandmaster, and great like character advancement for Lightning, who is a character I had no idea who this character was before this series. And it's a cool little, like, I feel like this is kind of the event-defining moment here. Like, that, like, this is the moment I'll probably remember the most about No Surrender when this is over after next issue.
Yeah, I think so. And, like, I love that I know this character now, too, because I think this is a big moment for that character specifically. And I would love to, like, see where he goes after this kind of experience. So I thought it was great. The best moment of the run, I think.
I would agree. I think it was definitely the best moment in this weekly series of Avengers so far.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my panel of the week, or sorry, well, I'm undecided if it's a panel or panels, because there is like a specific moment. But anyway, so I alluded to it earlier, but it's in the Scott Snyder, Raphael Albuquerque story. So I guess I'll just talk about the whole sequence. But so Lex Luthor has stolen the, let's see, what are the objects? The Eye of Zotar.
Yes.
And Kronos' time scissors, which they make the point of saying, like, if you used those, you could hypothetically cut any genealogical line from history.
Yes.
And then Lex is spending this whole thing, like I said, saying, like, oh, I didn't steal them to kill you and cut out your genealogical line. I just used it to like, do some stuff at this planetarium because I could see shit in space with that stuff, I guess. Mm-hmm. Anyways, and that's like the setup for this bit. And they go into Lex's backstory. This is all set up for the actual moment.
Yeah.
But, they go into his backstory, in which, for anyone who doesn't know, Lex Luthor and Superman grew up they both grew up in Smallville. And they go into this backstory of, I don't know if you knew that. I think I explained it to you at some point.
Maybe. I think so.
But anyway, Lex Luthor had a near accident where he almost died, because he did an experiment and forgot to, heat the liquid nitrogen that he had, which they reveal at some point that, child Superman, secretly had basically prevented that accident from killing him.
Yeah.
He heated up from the corner of a room, saw that the nitrogen was going to harm him and used his laser vision. So then we get to the end of the issue, and we have this sequence of panels that I actually want to talk about where, Lex finally admits they're just standing next to each other in this planetarium watching this like kind of light show, and he says, "I got the eye and the scissors to kill you." It's like, yes, of course. And then the next panel, Superman says, and this is like, if I had to pick a panel, this is the panel. They're both just standing there and they're staring at this like planetarium light show, and he says, "I know you did, Lex." And they're just like, they're not fighting. Like, he just admitted, like, yeah, I'm still trying to kill you. I know you did. And then the next panel, they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit unclear. It might mean, I think the implication is that like, because some people on the internet are calling this the last Lex Luthor and Superman story. So I think it's the idea is if Lex did this, Superman wouldn't be able to keep him from dying when he was a kid. So they both cease to exist.
Oh, wow.
But it's just kind of this, I don't know, it's this nice kind of like poetic thing of like they're always like, they're so calm about this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I'm always going to try to kill you. And he's just like, yeah, I know. And they just kind of share that moment together before they die.
Wow.
It might not mean that, but I think that's the implication. He says, but maybe in the last panel, and it's cut off.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some like music or whatever that says, and then our time ends. So I think that's the implication, but I just really like that moment where they're both standing there and he says, "I know you did, Lex."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a great panel.
I like it.
Great sequence.
I agree. Cool. Doug, brief thoughts. Justice League.
I don't think I disliked it as much as you did, because you specifically put it in here because you apparently hated it. So
I thought it was such a stupid, like, it was a bad ending. It's just a bad way to wrap it up. I'm sorry. And the fucking kiss means nothing now. And the fucking fan, like, some lawyer was the person that hijacked the goddamn thing into creating it to crash. Like, what?
I mean, the lawyer was an existing thing. That was the other person who was part of this organization. Like, that was an existing.
I know, but they're innocent because they didn't know that it was full of, like...
Yeah.
It's... Yeah. I just thought it was lazy, and I just didn't like it at all, and I thought it was dumb.
Yeah, I didn't like the Jessica Cruz stuff. I thought that kind of ended with a wet fart a little bit.
Seriously.
It like, I don't know why they did that. Why did she kiss him? Why was that even a thing? I totally agree on that. Like, I have no idea what the purpose of that character choice was.
Just to give us a moment to be like, oh my god, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And then, it means fucking dick. Okay, whatever.
You're so angry about it, though. I didn't think the rest of the plot was as bad as you thought it was.
I just feel like the whole Africa thing was such a departure from it.
Oh, again, we've talked about this before, like, this is two arcs that for some reason, like, overlapped halfway through.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand what either of them had to do with the other, what this whole arc had to do with the fan.
Yeah.
It just kind of turned into this second arc. I don't think it was a clean enough break for either of them to really feel like it was a substantial bit of story.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on.
Yeah. I just wanted to, just say what's going on in Batman real quick. So, you probably don't know who Booster Gold is, but Booster Gold is a time-traveling, glory-seeking, like nobody from the future who conned his way into some superpowers and some time travel abilities. He's got a little robot friend named Skeets.
Huh. Wait, his name's Skeet?
Skeets.
Okay, never mind. That's not as bad.
Not as bad.
Still pretty bad.
But, so, he's kind of a buffoon, and he has, have you ever heard of the story For the Man Who Has Everything?
Maybe? I don't think so.
It's a Superman story written by Alan Moore.
Okay.
So it's a single issue. You should read it sometime. It's great. It's one issue. It's a classic Superman story.
Yeah.
And it's basically, a villain traps Superman in a delusion that Krypton never exploded, and he's still living there. And like, but then it's kind of fucked up because it was supposed to be destroyed, and this is all wrong. And anyway, so Booster Gold has decided for Batman's wedding present that wow, wasn't that such a great thing that Superman like had this amazing experience and like learned something about himself through it? So I'm going to do that for you. So I went back and I made it so your parents didn't die. And he creates this horrible, horrible dystopian future where like everything's all fucked up. Like Dick Grayson is Batman, but he's shooting people with guns. Oh, and like there's this like Joker plague that's causing people to run around randomly murdering people.
Jesus.
It's like it's super messed up, and the idea that he thought this was like this great present because Batman will like learn something about how he needs to be Batman, and like isn't that such a great thing?
God.
So the reveal, because they don't reveal that until like 3/4 of the way through the issue. They just show you this fucked up future and Booster Gold flying through it, and then he like slowly explains over the course of like a page or two to Batman what he did, and it's one of the most ridiculous sequences.
Jesus.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. I just thought I wanted to explain that.
Yeah, I like that.
New comics for next week. We've got Doctor Strange, number 389.
Oh, nice.
Next, and the new issue of Doctor Strange Damnation. We'll have to check if the order in which you read those.
It will not be a tie-in.
It's not?
I don't believe it's a tie-in.
It says Damnation tie-in on the solicit I'm looking at right now.
Never mind.
They've been taking place after each issue of Damnation, so I assume we should read Damnation first.
Yeah.
Also, if this is correct, Doom Patrol, number 11, is coming out, which is exciting. Exiles, because that's twice monthly.
Okay.
Ice Cream Man.
Number 4.
You haven't read Kill or Be Killed yet, right? You just
no, but I'm looking at volume 1. Yeah, she read volume 1. I'm gonna read it soon.
Thanos Annual, number 1.
Oh yeah, that's still Donny Cates, I think.
Mm-hmm. Last issue of No Surrender, Avenger 690, and The Terrifics, number 3.
Fun,
cool,
big week. And then by next week we'll have watched Infinity War, so be ready for spoiler-filled, little reaction to that.
I'm wondering if that might be worth breaking off into its own thing, because we're not
supplemental episode.
Yeah, I'm not committing to anything, but if we don't, it's going to end up being a super long episode.
Okay, yeah, so maybe we'll do that. Tentative.
Yeah, we'll see.
Let's rush through these, because we should do our listener question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, if you want to have your question answered on the show, send us a message at our email, comicscovered@gmail.com, or message us on Twitter or Facebook. Include your name and where you're from. This week, we have Ryan from Brooklyn. What's a cross... Ryan asks... Sorry, I always wanted to do that. Like, Ryan asks, what's a cross-company or universe crossover you'd love to see between heroes or villains of any company?
All right.
Huh. Doug, you start. I'm gonna think about something ridiculous.
The thing that like immediately jumped to mind is I wanted to go for something that was like a little less obvious than just like a big Marvel character and a big DC character. So I tried to think outside of the big two for something that could cross over.
Here, I'll do something really short. That is okay. That'd be really great.
I was about to say mine, but okay. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. I would love to see somehow Iron Man and Batman having to work together to solve something.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Because they're both very similar, like, they're billionaire characters, but they're very different.
Yeah, Tony Stark is kind of the facade that Bruce Wayne puts on when he's pretending to be a billionaire playboy, but Tony Stark is actually that.
Yes. So that'd be fun, like a buddy cop kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that could be an interesting pairing.
Okay, go ahead, Doug.
So not from the big two, I was wondering who would it be interesting for Hellboy to cross over with? So I was thinking it might be fun if Hellboy crossed over with, he has crossed over with, like, I believe some DC characters before. So what if Hellboy crossed over with some of the Marvel, like the supernatural Marvel characters? Like, what if we got a Doctor Strange and Hellboy story?
Oh, that'd be cool.
I feel like that could be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my answer. I feel like that would be super cool.
Okay. That'd be really cool. I should read more Hellboy stuff. I really need to. You're gonna have to give me, like, suggestions on what Hellboy stuff to read, okay?
I mean, you just read just from the beginning. There's not really, honestly, other than, like, I've gotten you onto to reading the, like, the Hellboy and the BPRD stories that have been coming out recently, and those are pretty standalone, but for the most part, you just kind of, there's not really, like, a point to, like a story to read in the middle of it or anything. You just go back and read the first volume of Hellboy, you know, and read them in order. I need to also read more Hellboy. I have read the first, like, 4 or 5 volumes or something. There's a lot of Hellboy.
Yeah.
Turns out.
Okay. In any case, I have a couple really quick questions. Okay, you ready?
Sure.
Why is Cyborg thematically connected to Mother Box, a technology associated to the New Gods?
You read that, like, very clearly as if you were reading it off of a cue card, almost.
I am.
Why is Cyborg thematically connected to the Mother Box, a technology associated to the New Gods? I mean, did you see the Justice League movie at all?
Yes.
Okay, so, I mean, it's the same explanation as they give in there. This is something that
they just found it or something?
No, in comic versions of Cyborg since the New 52, they incorporated Mother Box tech into his origin. So basically, he dies. They try to bring him back as his dad tries to bring him back as a robot, and then they're also researching Mother Boxes. And for whatever reason, depending on what the telling is, it integrates with his body and turns him into a cyborg.
Okay, so he's just, like, connected to it. So so is it a technology that's made by New Gods, then?
His tech, his cyborg, like, being is based on, like, New Gods tech, basically.
Okay,
because
are there any, like...
comes from the Mother Box. He's able to make boom poobs.
Yeah.
Boom poobs. Episode title.
Ah!
boom tubes, which is how they get around a lot of the time. Yep. Okay,
cool. Also, do they have, like, Cyborg New Gods, like, crossover stuff ever?
Not really. As far as I know, that came from Jeff Johns' Justice League run, and I didn't read all of that. I know they cross over they, like, have a big New Gods event towards the end with Darkseid War. So I wonder if it's addressed then. But as far as anything I've read, not to my knowledge.
Okay, cool. Okay, and also there's some black suit Superman that looks really emo that I keep seeing, especially in Action Comics 1000. What is that? He's like a silver emblem on the center of his chest.
So in the 90s, Superman died.
Okay.
In an event written by Dan Jurgens.
Okay.
Who writes the opening story in this and normally writes Action Comics. So that was the death of Superman. That was
Doomsday?
The name. Yes, Doomsday kills him. And he comes back and he wears a black suit and he has a mullet and it's ridiculous.
Okay. So that's what people were talking about with the Justice League thing. Like, they thought they saw black suit Superman, but he wasn't.
Well, there was a deleted scene where he, like, almost puts on the black suit. And chooses to put on the colorful suit because it's more hopeful or whatever.
They should have just went with it, and instead of the mullet, had him have the mustache. They could have saved, like, hundreds, thousands of dollars on CGI.
Yeah.
Okay. In any case, that's going to do it for this week. If you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. We are still kind of new. 23, that's pretty young. I'm only 26. Am I 26? I'm 26. Are you 26?
And my social security number is...
Oh, shut up. Okay, that's the 4th. That's number 4. In any case.
I just think it's so funny now. Like, this ongoing bit that I'm, like, so secretive about my personal life.
But now that you said it's so funny, is it a joke that's funny anymore?
I went on Mashing Buttons, the Games podcast this last week, and they just used their whole names, and so they said my whole name, and I made the same joke, and I'm so funny.
Yeah. You got really drunk, though. It was really funny. So people go there. He gets pretty schwasty. It's great. They're drinking Absolute Lime, and you make a joke about the Absolute. That was actually pretty funny. Like, what was it called before it was Absolute? Find out on Mashing Buttons. In any case. But if you enjoyed it, we're still new, so please give us a review or star rating on iTunes if you haven't yet. But if you enjoyed what you heard, let someone know about us with your mouse or with your mouth. We release episodes weekly on Sundays, so be sure to check back next week. Or better yet, just subscribe, and you never have to think about it. And you can do that in iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Overcast, and Google Play Music. So whichever podcast app you prefer, will be on there probably.
Sure. In the meantime, before the next episode, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook under the handle @comicscovered. You can also find web archives of all our episodes at comicscovered.libsyn.com. That's LIBSYN.com. And on our YouTube channel or Facebook, Facebook. And if you want to get a hold, it's like Dr. Spaceman.
What?
Have you never seen 30 Rock? There's
no, I haven't.
Character on 30 Rock who's they introduce as Dr. Spaceman, and then he shows up and he says it's Spaceman, please. And if you want to get a hold of us with a question or feedback, send us a message on Facebook or Twitter or email comicscovered@gmail.com, and maybe like Ryan from Brooklyn, we'll feature you on a future episode. So yeah, Thanks again for listening, folks.
Ooh. And remember, next week we're going to talk about the Comics Code, because I'm going to find what the fuck this is about. I'm not going to look it up. You're going to tell me about the Comics Code, okay?
If we have time, considering Infinity War.
Okay.
We'll talk about Infinity War. Okay. Anyways, thanks again for listening. I'm Doug.
I am Jack. And this has been Comics Covered.
You're not going to do a bit this week?
No.
Okay.
I never do. Cheerio.
All right.